What's up? This is REESA RENEE, and I'm rocking with DMV affiliates. You.
My name is REESA, the daughter of a preacher. Was a student of the game, and I became the teacher. Miss me fell out a while ago, and now it's hard to reach her. It's not that hard to please her, it's all in how you treat her. We living life, living life. You've been anyway, and honestly, you're overpriced.
Yo, what's up? It's your man Vito for real, Vito Vici, get Geechee and all that wicked shit. DMV affiliates in the motherfucking building. It's Affiliates TV. And yes, this is a special episode. You know what I'm saying? Huge shout out to our sponsors at DMV Hoods and News and Toriani Studios. But today, I am sitting here with a soul singer. You know what I'm saying? This young lady right here is a composer of melody. You hear me? Like one of the princesses of go-go swing. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? My name is REESA RENEE. Grew up in PG County. I've been representing for the city for, I don't even want to tell y'all, but I hit the scene in 2011 with Got Me Loose, which y'all may or may not be familiar with, but I always and forever appreciate y'all support throughout my career thus far, and we back at it for around, I don't even know what round this is, but we been going for a minute.
All right, let's keep the marathon going.
You knew.
So I mean, thank you. Like you say, you from PG County.
And this.
So what was that like growing up for you, and like what was your household like growing up?
So I grew up in Largo. It was cool. Like I grew up with like the boys and girls type era, if you will. Like I wasn't the type of girl that grew up like, oh, I want to be a singer my whole life. And I'll get into that later because it's not really important right now. But I was an athlete, a basketball player, Kettering Largo Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, that's dope.
You're right, exactly. So the community for me was sports coming up. In the record, Right My Wrongs, I do mention that my father was a preacher. I use that word loosely. I rather prefer to call my father a philosopher because he was in it for a lot of me growing up, but he transitioned out of it, which on a personal level I'm really grateful for because it's like I got my dad back. We could kind of go into depths, but I won't, in regards to religion versus like spiritual relationship.
No, my father's a reverend as well.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the religious jumps versus like just a spiritual relationship, you know, and being spiritually in tune, allowing people to be human, et cetera, et cetera. So I learned a lot in that regards. And it's so funny with Right My Wrongs. A lot of people always like, are you really the daughter of a preacher? Like, that's the only part they hear. Listen to all the lyrics, too, okay? But that is a thing. That is a whole conversation in itself. But in general, I can probably go on tangents on my lyrics in general. I'm going to save you, though. I'm going to save you from that.
So what were your musical influences growing up and compared to also your musical influences today?
Whew. Well, I say it like transitions, you know? It's like, what's your favorite toy when you're a kid, you know? It goes from like a toy car to an actual car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to like a car you dream of having and et cetera, you know? That's kind of how I developed in music, if you will. When I was a kid, though, I would say it was more of like a personal side in regards to my parents forced us to be classically trained on the piano, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm too cool for this, I don't want to do it anymore, blah. And I stopped when I felt like it, or like, you know, when my dad used to play the drums and taught me how to play when I was 5. I grew up in like orchestras and stuff. We used to play the flute. Like
So you're a real musician.
Too much. A little bit. But you know, it makes sense now. But again, like I said, I was so focused on sports. Like, I don't know. I guess I started off with music, being involved in that manner. I used to always get in trouble classically because my teachers would be like, stop trying to play by ear. But that's just always what kind of drew me. It's the feeling, if you will.
Yeah.
Throughout my life, I realized that it became more of an expression for me. So I say the beginning was actual instrumentation, which still is here. But then I guess my father also would like take me into like, you know, I've studied all the gospels, not just that, but the old schools as well. So like gospels real quick. Fred Hammond for sure commissioned. They set the bar on a lot of things that they don't get a lot of credit for. The harmonies, the whatevers. And then when I guess I got the Al Greens for sure, the Marvin Gayes, my father made sure we knew exactly about that. My father loves Parliament. And if you really get into go-go, low key, you can get that funk, that Parliament era, even their live shows. If you look back on the old shows, it really reminds me of go-go's for real.
Yeah.
And then, of course, growing up, you know, the Mad Chef eras, the TCBs, the CCBs, you know, being in the go-go's. I was an old soul at a young age, too. So Chuck, Live in the 930 Club, my favorite flipping album. As an artist, I'm grateful I had the opportunity to open for him before he transitioned. I'm so grateful to have that experience, to have met him, to have talked to him, to
Rest in
experience
peace to Chuck,
it.
man.
Yep. Rest in peace to Chuck forever. Many legends though. Backyard, like I could tap into all of that, right?
Right. But before you do that, because real quick, just for the people who don't know, like, how long have you been singing? And like, when did you first know that you were like really talented? Because I mean, your voice is crazy. Like, for the people who don't know, like your voice is like super soulful.
Thank you.
So how long have you been singing? And like, when did you really know, like, I got some talent?
Man, how long have I been singing? I started in a go-go band in 2008.
Okay.
I came home with Got Me Loose, which is my first ever record written. But prior to that, because it's personal that bleeds into my music. Like, it's not a brand. It's not a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is really in me. You know what I'm saying? And it really became a point, like, as a person, I'm not the best communicator sometimes. And especially when my emotions get, heightened, or I'm in an extreme mood, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when I'm trying to explain myself or be understood, it was always misunderstood because I'd either be yelling at it or communicating extremely aggressively, right? And so I lost two of my really close friends in a car accident. It was very traumatic for me. And it just put me into like this like deep depression, you know what I mean? And along those times, like heavy, Yeah. Along those times, though, my brother used to always make beats. He used to make beats back in high school. And I found myself writing poetry to the beats, and then I found myself singing. And the singing for me, I can't really explain the feeling other than freedom. That sounds so cliche. But like I literally like feel, still to this day, my spirit and my soul like come out when I'm singing, you know, and it's inflections, and I'm not like a runner type of singer, you know what I'm saying? You feel me though, you know what I'm saying? And it was so freeing for me in that moment. I knew I finally had discovered my purpose, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And so that's when Release was born. Got Me Loose took off. It was crazy. But then professionally, it wasn't until I won Apollo with Got Me Loose and became a second person in 3 years to win off an original song. And then it was like, okay, so this is how it feels for me, right? And then to see the people in general's reaction to how it felt for them. Yeah. And then to see a legendary stage like the Apollo give me that stamp, and I'm like, oh, shit.
That's New York.
Right. I might go at that, you know? Yeah. I might actually be on to some shit, you know? And then from there forward, that was 2011. That's when I was like, I'm doing it. And this is it. Like, you can't tell me nothing type, but not for real, but like, I'm going hard.
And do you write your own songs?
I do.
That's so Got Me Loose, you wrote that.
I did. And that shit fell out too. Like, it wasn't like, I wasn't scratching my head or shit. I was like trying to keep up with my pen, you know what I mean? Like, that shit fell out like water. I'm not lying.
That's a blessing. I mean, so the name REESA RENEE, can you break that down? Like, is that like a government name? Is it a stage name? Like, how'd you get that name?
It's my name.
Really?
It is. My family my family calls me REESA. My name is Teresa.
Okay, it's a great name.
Thank you.
It's a great name.
So it's Teresa RENEE. Okay. In honor to my grandmother, since we did speak about her very briefly, who we just buried last week. My father's mother's name was Lonzina, Lord. My mother's mom's name is Virginia. So in ode to them, thank God my name was not Lonzina Virginia, right? She gave me my father's mother's middle name, which is Teresa. And then her mother's is Virginia Ruth Ann. So instead of Ruth Ann, they did Renee. So Teresa RENEE. So then REESA RENEE.
Now that's a vibe.
Yeah.
That's a vibe. And I mean, like, so because you mentioned in 2008 is when you started singing with a go-go band, right?
I did.
And so what are some of the bands that you work with, and what are some of your favorite go-go bands right now?
So, bands I've worked with. Man, I touched so many bands. I'm so grateful because that's where I started. But it's crazy because the go-go community has embraced me in the way they have since day one. So we rewind all the way back to 2008, which not a lot of people know too much about, right? BJ, I definitely know, Go-Go Mickey's son, was around back then. Like, we met each other in North Carolina. So a lot of people from D.C. went to A&T because A&T had in-state tuition. Yeah. You know what I mean? So go-go's would come out A&T all the time. Right. And my go-go experience coming up was at A&T because, back then, and still to this day, but back then, at the Mad Chefs and things of that nature, like, the legends, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was wild sometimes to go to go-go's at home, and I was so young. My parents were like, hell no, you're not going. Like,
right. It's too rowdy, yeah.
Yeah, it's too much going on, you know what I'm saying? So I was in school in Charlotte anyway. My brother went to A&T. It was only an hour's drive, so every time CCB came up there, Backyard came up there, UCB, any go-go's, I was there. You knew. So I would say, like, BJ definitely remembers when I broke, which was when I dropped out of college in 2008. I was able to meet Backyard Band out there, and they to this day are still my top, like, as my boys, as my family, and then also as like they legends, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that they're still together, and they've been together for so long and building together a family and how they do sonically what they do. My heart for G and Wink is like unmatched, you know what I'm saying? Just for who they are as people, who they are musically, who they are for the city, you know what I'm saying? And then who they are as friends. KK, Wiley, Chuck Brown's kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are family. They've embraced me from day one as well. So, like, you know, just family. Miss Kim, Scooby, Stomp from Northeast Groovers, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, like, I've been around them for so long, you know what I'm saying? Even as a youngin', you know what I'm saying? So I'm just so grateful to have even transitioned to the musical realm and doing what I'm doing now. Like, it continues. The relationship continues. The respect is always there. KK put me in one of her raps.
That's legendary right
there.
So
tight, yeah. So tight. So I would say that. I would say Backyard, by far, all-time favorite. Chuck, of course. I would have to say that. Not limiting anybody. New Impressions, love them. My brother Jody, bass, zoop, zoop.
Yeah.
He got the vroom, vroom.
That's dope. But, so, okay. Your sound. Like, how would you describe your sound? And, like, if you could call your own genre, like, what would you call it?
So, the best way to describe it, I always do. One, I hate this question. Respectfully. I will continue to do it because I understand people need something to, let me go listen, you know, type situation. But at the same time, I'm hopeful there'll be a day like y'all will be like, that's REESA. And some people are doing that now, you know, and I'm not knocking it. However, the best way to put it in a box, if you will, is if Jill Scott and Pharrell had a baby and Chuck Brown was the godfather. So you got like a funky, like, ooh, 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 you know what I'm saying? But then it also has like a go-go swing underneath of it. And I would say in terms of my tone, you know what I'm saying, I can definitely take you to like some neo soul, some Sarah Vaughan, jazz era, especially what I be doing with my vibrato and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I'm a funky individual. I'm colorful. I have a lot of energy, and I like to reflect that in my music. So there are times when, you know, you'll hear a record like Lonely or something where I'm giving like Janet or Michael, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I'm giving you some R&B shit, you know what I'm saying? And I have Godfather who loves flipping radio. He like, that's the word, REESA. You know, it's a lot of people who want to put me in an R&B bag or R&B box. A lot of people who want to put me in a go-go box.
I mean, you got a lot of tricks in your bag.
I do, low-key. And don't do that. Just let me be me and embrace it and digest it and feel it and appreciate the art for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like, you know, we don't always wake up. I don't want to say the same person, but we're multidimensional.
Yeah, we evolving.
Yeah, always.
And so let's talk about the creative process. Like, what do you need in order to create and compose a song and then ultimately a record?
What do I need? Emotions. I got plenty of that. A good record. Sometimes a record will come from out of nowhere. Sometimes I'll sit there in complete silence and get a melody and be like, yo, this is what I want to do. Or sometimes I'll hear a beat, like my brother PK, shout out to my brother, blood brother. He'll send me some shit. Like when he sent me Right My Wrongs, I knew it. Like sometimes I'll hear a beat and I'll just be like, yo, this is it. Like I got to do something with it, you know? And then I'll build off of that. My next album that you guys are going to get a part of soon. There are a couple records on there. I have an app on my phone. Like, the shit was on me so heavy. I just had to record, like, the layers on my phone to get it out type shit. So, it just really depends. I say life. Life inspires everything. And, like I said, like, if I need to get something out, you know, it just kind of falls out. I don't believe in digging too deep or having to work too hard, if that makes any sense, to write a record. If it's not coming or flowing, then I'll just wait.
Organic. I like that. So let's talk about Got Me Loose versus Right My Wrongs, and I'm talking about so far as like the creative process. Is there any difference in the formula so far as like when you made Got Me Loose back then, one of your original first songs, and now one of your latest songs, Right My Wrongs?
Right.
So, I mean, is there like a difference?
No. It hit me. It hit me. It hit me the same. You know, if anything, I'm glad you put them up next to each other. One thing I've been, I want to use a positive word. One thing that's come to mind, like come to light, if you will, is that a lot of people who hear my music or hear my name, they've heard me before, but they can't name a song. Or like they, there's no connection to my music the way I really want it to be. Yeah. Or the song that they name has always Got Me Loose. But I have so many other records, what I'm saying, outside of that are good records, what I'm saying, and that aren't go-go, what I'm saying? But, of course, you ain't never going to hear me poo-pooing Go-Go. Got Me Loose is my biggest record. You're never going to hear me poo-pooing that either.
One of my favorite records is I Tried.
Oh, see? But it's still in the cut, though. Nobody knows about that one yet.
Because just the lyrics on that joint, like, I believe in you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't waste my time is rude. I'm like, okay.
That is a bar. Fuck you talking about? Stop it.
Yeah, nah, for real. Like,
I agree, and I value that. You know what I'm saying? I value that 1,000%. So yeah, same energy though. And I'm sorry. The point I was making though, Got Me Loose, Right My Wrongs, it's the same energy in my opinion, because before I embark, because I don't want to say I was in a period of quiet time, but I did have to get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? And I got it together, y'all. But it's like a reintroduction. So if y'all have ever been to my shows, like I used to introduce myself, like hello. That was my show. Yeah. If you look at old footage, you'll see it. If you look at my old record, Inspire Me to Write, when I first hit the scene in 2011, my name is REESA RENEE, playing on going worldwide with this go-go swing. Soldiers from the DMV, what are you saying? This is like a reintroduction.
Thank you for hitting that for me too.
You knew. It's this, Right My Wrongs is a reintroduction, just like that, because that was 10 years ago. Yeah. So I want to start my foot off where I started off then, give my nods always and forever to where I came up at and who has supported me so far.
That's I commend you on that. I tip my hat. Thank you. Quick question, you're independent, right? You're an independent artist. Mm-hmm. So would you take a record deal or would you stay independent?
It depends. I mean, it depends on the project. One valuable lesson I've been learning as I've been pitching myself, if you will, in this phase of my career, is you have to decide, like, as an artist, like, what serves you in an overall scope. And then also, what is the goal of the record or the project that you're putting out? Mm-hmm. So for me personally, The Cure, my goal of The Cure was not to chart. The goal of The Cure was not to get all of this attention. I would love to, for sure, because I think it's worth it. Yeah. But on a spiritual and a personal level, I had to get that shit off. I wrote it in 2017. There's a lot that transpired through it that I won't get into now. It'll waste time later. But I had to get it off, and I wanted to get it out, and I wanted to give it to y'all. I was touring that shit in 2018. We toured it for a year to test it out before we even released it. You get what I'm saying? And so I was just holding on to it. The energy from it is like heavy. You know what I'm saying? I was going through a very heavy time where I had to like shed people and energies, and it was just weighing on me too heavy. And at that moment, it was like, REESA, I gotta get this off. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I say all that to say, like, depending on the project, like this next one I'm releasing, in a perfect world, it'd be nice to partner with somebody. Whether I need to sign to do that, I don't know. Is it a project deal? Sure. But if you think of like even like a Brent Fires, who's like, a trailblazer in what he's doing, still being independent, but signing that agreement with United Masters or whatever. He's still indie, but he's still got some type of deal to help push him forward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would never, if it serves me, sure, yeah, of course, because the idea is to elevate and to take beyond. Right. But one thing that I do intend to do is show the ropes. Because I'm indie, because I've been doing this by myself for so long, distributing my own stuff, branding and marketing my own things, and figuring out the business. Once I figure out the bag, though, I'm definitely I have every intention to show other artists how to do it. Because
I'm big on manifestation, and so, like, I would love to just pick your brain. And for the other artists that are watching, if you could construct your own deal right now, like, literally they walked you in and said, look, whatever you want, distribution deal, single deal, album, you know.
If I could construct my own deal right here, right now, short term, because my vision is zoop, without dropping too much of everything I'm doing.
Spoken like a true artist.
Limited to my music. I'll say that because I do have other things in tow. I would have a marketing and marketing and branding deal with this next album that I'm dropping. I know how to distribute my own shit, but at the end of the day, like if someone needs a cut, you know what I'm saying, I'll give it to them to help me push it further, because it's like I have my audience, you know what I'm saying, and I can collaborate with the likes of you and other platforms, which I'm forever grateful for. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, so thank you again.
No question. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, though, the heart behind it is to reach as many ears and eyes as I can, and not poo-pooing the algorithm, because shit is what shit is. But in order to break past and break that barrier and bust through the ceiling the way I do want to do, I would say a marketing and branding deal for my next project. And if I need to split on the publishing or whatever the fucking case may be to accomplish what I need to accomplish, would be nice. And then low key, like, you know, a couple $100,000 would be nice too, to be able to invest in my vision. Because at the end of the day, like, these videos that you guys are seeing now, Chastity did direct and script Right My Wrongs.
Right.
I came up with the locations, but she helped tremendously, because I was actually in the middle of a mental health crisis when I shot that video. Y'all don't even know all the shit I be talking about with my mental health. If you hip on my Instagram, like, I want to say, like, maybe a month or two before, I had just gotten out of the hospital. And I'm here, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Let's shoot the video. Da-da-da-da. We beat, we do the things. And I'm pretty sure I went right back in the hospital afterwards. Like, I was navigating my art throughout this whole thing, because that's my expression. You know what I'm saying? But the next record that I'm going to release, which you guys will find out later, but I scripted that whole thing. And so this next album, I have so many video ideas, you know, and I would love that big ass budget to pay for it, so it can come together the way I really, really want it to, you know. That would be a perfect world for me.
And so talk a little bit more about Right My Wrongs. You said your brother produced it.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And you got a feature from Killer Cow.
And dude, Killer Cow. Woo.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a hype.
That's my man. I'm Killer Cow. Yes, my man. Go ahead. I'll let you finish that.
But I mean, like, so just talk about the song and what it means to you, and because I mean, you spell it right, not just like right and wrong, but like literally, like I'm writing. Literally, so like can you break down the title and what it means to you and what you want it to mean to your fans?
Absolutely. So Right My Wrongs is me reintroducing myself, if you will. I think throughout this whole molding process, if you will, it's been real heavy. It's been very difficult. It's like drudging through like quicksand, honestly, for the last like 4 or 5 years. And I know with my audience, I've been teasing, like, oh, I'm going to drop an album, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And then the pandemic happened, and then deep depression happened, and it was just so much moving parts, if you will. So there is a confidence, if you will. There is a rebirth, if you will, that occurred that I documented for The Cure, from The Cure, where I'm able to express myself in a way maybe I wasn't able to before. So a lot of the shit I'm talking, because I am talking big shit, and Right My Wrongs, if you listen to the lyrics, is a testament to who I am. You know what I'm saying? So there's records like, because it's like, I'm queer, right? But at the end of the day, I love to be attractive to both men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool with that. I like to be sexy. I like to be sought after, if you will. So the line, could book me a dude, could book me a broad, is very real. You know what I'm saying?
It's a hard bar, too.
Yeah, you do. But, you know, I did that intentionally. Or, you know, like, you know, with love, you know, I'm obsessed with it, low key, you know, and I've fucked up and made some really not so best or wise decisions, you know, but at the end of the day, you learn from stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, what is it? I'm living life, you know, I'll put you on the back burner, I'll put you on ice. I'm talking to love, like, fuck all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what that shit is about. So it's really about a transition of me refocusing on me, REESA, the person. And I think that's very important. Yeah. So that's what that's about.
That's dope. So who are some of the people that you work with? I mean, you just dropped this new song with Killer Cow.
Yep.
But who are some of the other artists that you work with and have toured with as well?
So, first of all, y'all already knew, but my girl Pinky Killer Corn.
Yeah, another legend.
That's my girl. That's my girl. You know, me and Pink. So my first 3 albums that I released, I've toured them multiple times. Each one probably took me out on tour at least a year or 2 years. And there was a stint, maybe like 2014 to maybe about 2017, where me and Pinky shared the same manager at the time, and Pinky would be on the road with me. So me and Pink did the road probably for about 3 years together. Like that's real live my sis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So also me and Pink are sitting on hella records. So stay tuned for that.
Right.
I got records with Nooch. That is my boy, Nucci.
I was going to ask you about, because that front, that's that front porch.
Yeah, freestyle. Yeah.
Or that, excuse me, is it off the porch? Not
front porch.
It's front porch,
front
right?
Front porch freestyle. Yeah.
Shout out to Nucci, by the way, because I've interviewed Nucci too, and that he already know them front porch freestyles is crazy.
Something crazy.
But that's a dope collab. Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Hell yeah. So me and Nooch, that's my boy. Nooch is my boy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, what's up, nephew? Mm-hmm. I'm so proud of him. He is the son of a legend. You know what I'm saying? His dad put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Right, free booby.
Yeah, free booby. In terms of like definitely being on like BT and in them spaces back then. You know what I'm saying? He was putting off an artist artistically back then. His father was a lyricist is what I say. You know, I don't want to limit him saying he was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So to see Nooch doing what he's doing, but not even in addition to that, actually he know where his ass is at. Like the pen, Nucci's pen is stupid.
Yeah, he's
Nucci's vision is stupid. You know what I'm saying? So end all be all, I would support him and anybody for real, but Nooch for sure, like in whatever it is that he does, you know. And we cut that record a minute ago. Honestly.
I think it was on 2017 when
2016. Yeah. It's off his record, his album New Regular.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So Nooch hit me up. He was like, "Yeah, Reese, I'm thinking about bringing a live band on when he went town. Like, let's do it." I was like, "Hell yeah, let's fucking do it." And we did it, and it did what
crazy.
it did.
It looked amazing. You sounded amazing.
Thank you.
Like it was a vibe. Like,
we also got another one coming though.
Okay. So and hopefully you'll mention it, but you don't have to.
That's cool.
But any dream collabs that you have, like, because you got the type of voice I feel like you could be paired with almost anybody. So who would you want to be?
Let me answer this without being extra. I would say I'm a dream collab. I mean, obviously, I would love to work with Pharrell one day. But I'm like something in the water, happy Pharrell fan. NERD, like I was blasting this man when I was in high school. Super duper respect for him. What he did with Despicable Me and his business sense and how he transitioned to that bag. Yeah. His production has been going off, you know what I'm saying? So I would love to work with Pharrell one day if I can, in some type of capacity. For sure. Janelle Monáe, I love to be around her again. I would say, like, even with these people, it don't even gotta be a record for real. Like, I would just want a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like slighted a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean this to devalue anyone else or anything like that. But like, I have not had a musical in the business mentor my entire career up until this point. And it would be nice to have somebody come and be like, yo, let me to stamp what I'm doing. Like, it's cool because everybody always comes in with the opinion. You gotta do this way. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's how you do it. It's cool. I'll take on opinions for sure. But if the only record you can name or only campaign that you can name that I've ever done is like Got Me Loose, then what are we talking about here? Like, study me before you give me any type of judgments. You know what I'm saying? Right. And intimately study me as an artist. Appreciate me, value me before you try to, pick me apart. So I would prefer, genuine relationships over anything, and I'm really more over like a spiritual connection than some like superficial ass like clout chasing shit. So anybody on the other end, and by that I mean like who figured out how to make the bag and like it's a part of their pulse. I'm cool with just a positive, cool energy. It don't even necessarily have to be somebody that everybody knows. That's what I want to attract. I really don't even have like a person per se in mind because you would never really know who could come out of the cut and influence that type shit.
I hope we manifest that. Let's get the mentors coming. Any crazy on tour stories?
Probably plenty, honestly. Which one do I want to tell is the real question. I got the craziest story. So I wasn't there, thank God. Let me piece it together. We were in Atlanta, so there was a lot of times where, man, when we hit the road, Like, pack up the shit, we out, you know what I'm saying, type situation. And we drove to Atlanta and we got there. I would go out sometimes, but usually my going out would be after the shows. But the boys would always like to go out like as soon as we touched down. They went out to a club. And when they came back the next day, my business partner's hand was like super duper fucking swollen. And I'm like, what the fuck happened last night? Apparently while they were in the club, they come outside of the club, and when they're there, everybody's like, where's the car? Where's the car? Where's the car? So they pull up to the car or walk up, and they realize there are two people, like, legs kicked out, like, in the car, like, rummaging through shit. And they realize, oh, shit.
Somebody trying to
steal the car, steal the shit in the car. So they run over to the niggas in the car, pull them out the car, they're beating them down in the middle of the street in Atlanta, outside the club. They say the police show up, like, flashlights out, like, what the fuck is going on? And they still beating them down, like, these niggas trying to steal my shit, you know what I'm saying? And the police is like, go the fuck off.
Right, beat them like they stole something.
Yeah,
no
exactly. So they let whatever transpire. But, yeah, like, shit like that has happened before. I was on tour with T.I., and... you know, I be so chill, like, and I realize, like, I have to pivot. My pivot is not like, oh, REESA's acting brand new. It's like, maybe this is not the safest thing to do, right? So I got a chance to go on tour with T.I. I did a couple dates with him. I think I was in Richmond, maybe. And after I got all set, I like to go fuck with the people. So I went outside. Terrible idea. I get out there because everybody couldn't come backstage with me, and I didn't want to leave all my folks out there, so I just went out there with them. And this woman comes up next to me. And she's like, hey, what's up? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, let's chop it up. So she's talking to me. And at some point in her interaction, she takes it upon herself to grab my hair and, like, zoop, like, try to go like that, right? So in retrospect, she thought it was a fucking wig and tried to, like, pull my shit. Oh. So my whole head goes, like, zoop, like that. And I promise you, she lucky Pinky wasn't with me, because if she was, like, it would have been, like, 1,000% on site. But for me, like, I'm on tour with T.I. Like, the way that came about was wild already. I'm not about to fucking get into a fight with this woman, like, on tour, like, because it might fuck up my bag, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, my movement or whatever. So I don't remember at this point what I said to her, but I'm pretty confident I gave her, like, one of those, like, what the fuck is your problem type situations. Right. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Like, don't fucking touch me. I know I said that. Like, don't touch me, dog. Don't touch me. And so at that point, like, I went backstage and just stayed back there. And that was kind of at a point where I was like, okay, maybe I cannot just mingle. But what the fuck is wrong with people? For real.
Music does something to it.
No.
But real quick, because that segue into a really interesting question, like, because you have this iconic look with your hair. I mean, for the last few years, I've noticed. I mean, even with this photo, this great artwork here. Like, how did you come up with this iconic look, and, like, you know, what made you, like, go so natural? And again, this is not a gimmick. This is not a brand. Like, this is me. You know, at the end of the day, like, when I started, I was in it. Like, I'm learning as I go. That's when I first learned about branding and shit. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, we got that first photo shoot, that iconic tee with the iconic picture, with my black shades. The Got Me Loose single, I think it is. I did that shoot before I launched my career. And that shoot, to this day, people are still stealing that photo. That photo is in Dubai. That photo is in Haiti. That photo is in Italy. I've had friends traveling. A fucking hair salon in Italy I'll send you these pictures if you want to put them up so you know I'm not lying. A hair salon in Italy was advertising with my fucking picture on there with my hair. I'm like, what the hell? It's lit, but where's my bag at? The fuck? I manifested everybody know me, but damn, they can know my name too. That's my fucking face. And then somebody tagged me in, like, there's a mural in Memphis. Like, I still don't know where that's at. Some rapper did a rap video. Somebody was like, REESA, is that you? I said, oh, shit. Like, there's a mural, that same fucking photo. So I say all this to say, like, this is me, and I'm realizing it's a brand type situation. But I used to always only get Prince and Combs in a jar when I was a kid anyway, right? One of my old teachers used to call my ponytails firecracker ponytails, because at first I wanted my hair to be straight so I could be like all the other girls, but my hair's always been thick anyway. I never really needed a relaxer, but I wanted to be cool. But it just has so much body in it when I was younger, so I would either always slick it back in a ponytail or, like, twist up the ends to try to get this low-key before I just didn't know how to do it. So there was a point I went away to school. Nobody ever touches my hair. In my lifetime, I've only had 3 hairdressers, and one of them I had to because I was in Charlotte, and she put a real perm in my hair. And when she did that, the sides of my hair burned off. And when she did that, I was like,
First of all, nobody's ever touched my hair anymore.
Never
Second
again.
of all, nobody's ever put no chemicals in my hair again. And that is when I started in 2008 going natural. So, yeah, and the bush kind of took off on its own.
And it's iconic, though.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
And so, because I don't want to hold you too much longer, but at this point in your career, like, who is REESA RENEE? Like who would you say that you make your music for? And, like, what's the message that you want to leave with your fans?
At the end of the day, REESA is first and foremost human. When we speak about this whole marketing and branding thing, I think people, there's a huge disconnect between the artist and the artist, the human. And I don't know if it's just because of the way the industry is kind of flowing, and some people, they separate the two, and that's for them. But for me, it's not. You know, I think it's important that it's known that, you know, I speak for the have-nots. I speak for the invisibles, the unseens, you know, the people who don't necessarily have a voice, if you will. The people who don't necessarily or haven't presented or fitted in their whole life properly to where it's digestible, if that makes any sense. Because I spent so much time, and at times I, you know, spend so much time trying to be understood, if you will, because I can just come off so wrong. You know what I mean? Like, one of my, I get called a Sour Patch all the time, you know, because I'm the sweetest person ever. I laugh, I smile,
your energy's crazy.
Yeah, but if you fucking play with me, you go experience another side of me, you know? It's a very real reality of my mental health and some things that I am navigating in that department. That just my wiring, if you will, is just a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? So the music, me being able to tell my story, having the connection of an artist, and again, the humanity of that artist is the most important thing. I'm going to say this because I think it's important, and you can cut it up how you see fit. But the best example I have is, like, think of J Blige, right? And think of when Murray first came out with the fine, whoo, right?
Yeah.
Remember how mad everybody was? It was like, oh, I want the My Life Murray back. I want the depressed Murray back. What is this, like, happy, blah, 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 go lucky shit? You know what I'm saying? There was an era where people bit back, if you will, regarding
they wanted
that, right?
The sad,
right,
you know,
right.
Heartbroken music.
Right? But if you think of Mary the person, and I'm just using her as an example, like, what about her the human? You know what I'm saying? That's not fucking conducive to a life of being able to exist in your day-to-day. And again, everybody doesn't write their own records, but there is, like, a heart, in my opinion, of creatives that it gets really dangerous of self-sabotage, because at the end of the day, like, we want to be able to express, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go through this, and it's all good. It's going to give me a good song. Fuck the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, respectfully. Because at the end of the day, like, who are you, the human? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you hydrated? Are the people around you hydrating you? Are you hydrating yourself? What does your environment look like? Is it serving you for the long term? Is this something that can bring life to you in the next 10 years? And I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about your spirit. Like, how you feel, who you are. You know what I'm saying? And the industry in itself is just drains creatives in a way. And a lot of us, in some sense, don't even have a pot to piss in afterwards, because we're just taken so much advantage of. And the reality is, like, the streaming sites, if you will, $1 billion, right? The artists get paid less than a cent per stream. You get what I'm saying? So we build the shit, but they getting all the bread off of it. And I feel like we're taken for granted so much. So that is something I can roll into and talk on, plethora on later. I won't get into it now, but I would just say REESA RENEE is definitely human. And REESA RENEE is actually pretty tight too, because listen to my lyrics. Like, I challenge y'all, listen to my lyrics, man, because it's my story, but I know it's not just me. Like, half the shit we go through, there's no reason that it's for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be to inspire somebody else. So if you are overwhelmed with your life, if you are at a dead end and you don't think you got shit going for you, whatever the case may be, like, trust me, I've been there, like, been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was never strong enough to, like, actually pull the trigger, but there definitely are some life decisions and choices that I made along the way throughout my life, that pretty much were pulling the trigger in slow motion. You get what I'm saying? So I chose life. I continue to kick every day and do what I do and make the marks that I make, just to let y'all know that it is possible. And I pray that my struggles, my transparencies, etc., like, will never be in vain, because the whole idea is to inspire the next person who inspires the next to inspire the next. You know what I'm saying? Just pay it forward.
Facts.
Period.
So let me ask you a couple off-topic questions.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you all day.
Come on, you good, baby.
So, what's your favorite food?
Don't judge me. Buffalo wings.
Okay.
Give me a good buffalo wing and a good steak, and I'm good.
What's your favorite song?
Song?
Yeah.
Wow. Come on now. Depends on the day. First one that's popping in mind is Don't Do It, NERD.
Okay.
101, Chuck Brown. The Electric Lady, the album. Yeah.
Okay. If you could record a song and perform with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
I would want to do a record with Chuck. No doubt.
Okay. That's dope. I like that answer.
Mm-hmm.
What is REESA Renee's love language?
Ooh. For real. Sheesh. I would say the way I care and the time and effort I put into understanding and then reflecting that back to someone. That's the heart behind it. Whether it's received in that manner depends on the other individual. That's all I can say with that.
I like that answer. But now, besides singing, because you're like crazy talented, what is your modern day superpower?
I would say my vision and execution. And I'll also say I typically tend to be the glue, if you will. So if you come to me with a need and you're like, yo, I need blue, 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 this is my vision. I'm like, oh, well, so-and-so's over here and so-and-so's over there. Da-da-da-da. Hey, guys, meet so-and-so. And then y'all do what y'all fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's power. If they made a movie about you, like, what would the title be?
Ooh. Wonderland Cool. What you mean?
I like that. Oh, yeah. Let's recycle these titles. So, what's next? Like, what's next for REESA Renee?
REESA Renee, next album. Boom. Album for sure. I'm about to put on for the city and beyond. Like, black culture, black art, like me. People who look like me, people who present like me, people who resonate with me. I'm about to put on for us, period. So that's next.
We got a name for the album yet?
I do. It's entitled Time Flies.
Time Flies.
Time Flies.
Okay.
Which Time Flies. Leave it at that.
You get...
So I do also intend, because, you know, my entire career up until this point, they're listening to me overseas. However, I have never been out of the country. Canada is cool, but it's just Toronto is all I've been to. So within this next year, I intend to go out of the country with my music, and hit, different, like physically, not just sonically, but that is another thing for what's next for REESA Renee. I have some endeavors, if y'all remember, fashion wise, Reese's Picks, back when I used to collaborate with Sports Zone and other, fashion entities, if you will. I've always worn, homegrown, stop calling people local, please, homegrown brands.
Facts.
Homegrown brand since day one. So I have something called Vibe Jockey, is what it's called. And the whole idea is, of course, with my original pieces, I'm also going to be collaborating with some artists on some really cool shit. And not just artists from here. And I'm not talking about singing artists. I'm talking about, like, creatives, painters, whatever your medium is, I'm collaborating. This is a prime example of, like, a Vibe Jockey collaboration. I'll get into more of that later. Follow me on social media. You can hear more about that. But that's what's next for REESA. Yeah.
That's dope. I mean, so... Any shout outs? Like, tell the people where they can find your music, tell the people where they can look you up, Instagram, social medias, all that good stuff.
I said it's REESARENEE. Yep, it's REESA Renee. Yeah. Remember that and you remember everything. REESARenee.com, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, whatever the flip you guys are on YouTube. Everything is at REESA Renee. So as long as you know how to spell my name, REESA RENEE, and stay in tune with everything that I'm doing. I try to keep everything up on my site. Instagram is my favorite. I usually probably update there the most, so follow me, please.
That's dope. So I mean, everybody, make sure y'all tap in. This young lady right here is a pioneer. She is a legend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's your man Vito for real, sitting here with REESA RENEE. Y'all have a great day, have a great night. If we don't see you, have a beautiful life.
Thank you for having me.
You know
I love y'all. I mean that.
And we got.